Hi, and welcome to another CVC Interviews. My name's Joyce Vaudreuil from Vernon, and I'm here with someone that I kind of have a past with, and I can't wait to tell you how we're connected. With me tonight is Jennifer, and she's representing Bikers Against Animal Cruelty. And she's got a lot of great things to tell you about that organization. So, Jennifer, welcome and thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Please tell us about your involvement with B.A.A.C.
Yes. So my husband and I were involved in rescue, and there's not one organization that necessarily fits everything that you're looking for. And then friends of ours became volunteers with B.A.A.C, Bikers Against Animal Cruelty. And we checked it out and absolutely fell in love with the mission, the people in it. I mean, for us, it was a no-brainer. It's one of the rare places that sticks with the mission, what it does, and that's all that they do. Like, nobody gets paid, everybody's volunteer. So it worked. It worked for us. Like, you could directly see what your hard work was paying off.
I found that very common in the biker community. My husband and I have been riders for many years. I rode long before I met him. And every charity run, poker run, chicken run. I mean, I ate more roasted chicken on these. But it's a community that loves to use their fun activity to help the community.
Yeah, and there's so many motorcycle groups and clubs and just friends who get together and ride that absolutely will support almost any organization. Like you name it, and a biker or a biker group or friends will support. I mean, it's amazing.
Well, I like when you get swag. So I have been rocking this in heavy rotation with the hubby because it's a little big for me, but we both love it. I got to interview someone from your organization. I just keep saying pre-COVID. I sound like I'm talking like a historian, but I don't remember what year it was. And I have been following you folks on Facebook ever since.
Thanks.
I love it, and I would forward anything that you had going on. And most recently, my husband and I decided to thin out some of our motorcycle collectibles, I might say. And we did what's called an in-kind donation to you folks. And we said, please, take our leathers. We donated leathers, other riding gear, and accessories.
Yep. And happily, we took it because many people don't realize you don't always need to give money. And not everybody has money. But you may have something that's too good to throw away and is absolutely able to be used somewhere else. So yeah, that's perfect. It was a perfect fit for us.
Yeah.
And
give it to a member. Sell it at a flea market. Or
it did. It's gone to good use.
Yes.
And if, like any organization, if we can't use something, we know someone who can. Like everybody in the rescue community, in theory, works with each other because you have to. Like, when it's cliche when people say it, but it does take a village.
It does.
And not anybody can do everything.
So as an official 501c, what are some of the ways that you raise money? Because there's not a lot of folks, you don't have to be a motorcyclist to support you, obviously. But so what are some of the ways? You were talking about artisans and things like that.
Yeah, so if you're cleaning out your closet, spring cleaning, almost every shelter and rescue can use towels, blankets. If you are a crafter, sometimes you can donate items, or maybe you sell them and we get a proceed from it. I mean, people are really creative, and we've got really good people who help us by doing things all the time. So yeah, if you have a talent, you can put it to good use. Sometimes shelters, people make blankets for shelters. You may have a finicky cat, like we were talking about before we started the show. You have leftover food. What do you do with it? You don't want to throw it away. We take it, we give it to people who need it. I mean, we do shelter runs. We do stuff-a-trucks throughout the year. People bring items and stuff.
Yeah, I want to talk about the stuff-a-truck. I've heard of that, but what do you mean a shelter run?
So we collect things throughout the year, mostly dog and cat food, but there's other animals, rabbits, gerbils, any domestic pet, and shelters and rescues who need those things. We have a motorcycle run typically done in the spring. And wherever we have collected items for, we stop and donate and, check out their facilities. It's,
I
it's
used to
nice.
love those. Yeah, those donation runs were always great as a motorcyclist. They were
Yeah.
always geared towards something positive.
Yeah. And you need it because
Yeah.
it's rough out there for shelters and rescues and anybody doing anything with animals. This has been a horrific few years. I mean, it's always bad, but we've seen such an uptick in abuse and neglect cases. And that's only what we know, only what's reported.
Right.
So the statistics in Connecticut that came out recently, animal abuse and neglect crimes are up 36%, but that's only what's reported.
Right.
So who knows what's going on for real, because nobody reports it, people don't know. So it's hard. I'm sure that number is really, really high.
So your organization raises funds, but also awareness in doing things like this. Thank you again for coming. But what are some of the other things you do throughout the year? Your website looked very informative.
Oh, yeah.
But what are some of the other events that you have?
So we have in the summer a rally, and that's our biggest fundraiser of the year.
Where do they hold that?
We have it at Martin Bishop Field in Guilford. So it's Martin Bishop Field in Guilford, and that's typically in the summer, usually in August. Yeah. We try to have it the same time every year so people kind of know when to expect when they're going to be able to see us.
On tonight, a rally to raise money and awareness for animals in need. Bikers Against Animal Cruelty held its biggest event of the year today, kicking off early this morning with a group ride to Guilford. That's where food trucks, vendors, and live music drew supporters to Martin Bishop Field. The annual rally raises thousands of dollars each year. Every penny goes to vet care for animals who have been neglected and abused.
We help neglected and abused animals, and we used to get cases maybe once a month, once a week, every other week, and we're getting them daily now.
Bikers Against Animal Cruelty works year-round, hosting donation drives and educating communities about the issue and proper pet ownership. The organization takes online donations, and you can find more information on our website, WFSB.com.
And that's our biggest fundraiser. And we also collect items. So if you have blankets, food, anything like that, we'll take it and see who needs it and distribute it. So
for a large donation, you can arrange a pickup, or are there places that people can drop things off
we
for you guys?
usually meet people if they have something like that. Yeah. But we, in Wallingford at the B.A.A., there's a drop-off point for us. That's our probably our only one at the moment. Okay. But yeah, we'll go almost anywhere. We have members across Connecticut in all different towns, so somebody is going to be close enough to meet somebody.
Well, when I called and said, well, I have all these leathers and things, you're like, I will find somebody to to pick it up. Yeah. As it turns out, you ended up
it was
picking it up. So some of my favorite things were those the plastic feet.
Oh yes. Yeah, it's funny. We went through all of that, and everyone was like, "Look at this, look at that." So, yeah, it was a great donation because it went.
That's like 30 years of Americade. I don't know how many times we've been to Americade up in Lake George. Is just gorgeous.
Yeah,
it was in
beautiful.
June.
You can't beat that.
It was it was perfect. And talk about rides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
beautiful.
Huge. Yeah,
beautiful. So when you're talking about organizing events, you could use a lot of non-riders as your help too.
Oh yeah, absolutely, because you can't carry a lot of supplies on a bike.
Right. So
somebody has to be there with a car or a truck with all the stuff. And people have been amazing with us. Like, they've been so generous. So we always have a truck filled or a couple cars filled. And, we're fortunate. And then we, pass it along to people who need it. So.
When do you do Stuff a Truck?
We do them a couple of times a year, usually fall and spring.
Okay.
Summer, like I said, is our rally, so that's usually our big event. But we try to do it whenever it's possible because the need's there all year long.
Yes.
So anytime, but if we're going to be standing outside for, 6 or 8 hours or however long, we try to make sure it's a good time of the year because otherwise it's brutal.
They did pictures with Santa here one time.
Oh,
I don't know if they do it every year or not, but I so wanted to bring my cats, but One of them is just not into being in the car at all.
Oh, yeah.
Motion sick, really bad. Worse than his mom. So
That happens.
Yeah. But I always like that. I did that once with a dog, long time ago.
Yeah, people love their pets, and we're able to do a couple of pet picks usually around November, December, like obviously Christmas time.
Great.
And
Where do you usually do that?
A Harley dealership usually has us. Sometimes it's in
Giant one in
Danbury,
Manchester.
Manchester, East Haven, so Brantford, all those areas. We try to go all over so people are aware of us. So,
Right.
Somebody in Groton might not know who we are, but we're going to be out there somewhere to let you know that we're here. So
what's some of your favorite events?
my favorite event is probably Pet Picks because it's a lot of fun. You can't help but love an animal who's coming in dressed up in like really cute outfits. If they like it, if they're not comfortable, I suggest you don't try to force them, but it's a lot of levity and it's nice to see animals who are cared for and loved.
Yes.
And, that's where we see that. So, because on the converse, what we see all the time are
Sad.
really, really sad. I mean, these poor animals. And these are the ones who are fortunate enough to be found, to be rescued, to be helped, and then going on to a better life. So that's
Our
that's
foster
a true
failures
reward.
that we have.
Yeah. Foster failures. I mean, most of our members have animals who are, kind of war torn in some way. So, missing limbs, missing eyes, missing things, or, high maintenance because they are abused. They're triggered easily. So everybody's got their special, pet that they've rescued or foster failed, and everybody loves them.
Yeah, we had a couple that because we took in the ill kittens and cats. So plus we weren't afraid to dose them. Some people are afraid to dose cats,
Right.
and I understand the fear, but we didn't mind doing that. So we did enjoy it. But every time we had to give them back, it was like, no.
I know it's hard, and fostering's so important because it saves, more than one life. Like,
oh yeah,
it makes room for another shelter animal.
Well, the kittens that we ended up keeping 10 years ago, they weren't even eligible to be adopted. So it wasn't even like,
right.
how
You
can
have
you keep,
to wait.
you got to keep them together. They're, litter mates, but they were only 4 weeks old. So when they were discarded in a box, so you couldn't, that's why we had to foster, was they're just not old enough to even adopt out.
Right.
So, oh yeah, failure.
Yeah, it's good though, because it's important, like you were saying, like people are afraid to dose or
Yeah,
whatever. And if that's not for you, don't do it. 'Cause,
Right.
it doesn't help anybody.
Yeah, I clip their toenails with regular nail clippers, but I only do like a paw or two at a time.
Yeah.
And then they get mad and they leave. Okay, I'll catch you later.
Yeah,
Then
that's
I hear
mine.
the little clipping on the wooden floors, and I'm like, who's that?
Yep. They hate to have their feet touched. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
This is
Well, they
what
overall
we have
do.
to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
So
I'm loving that you guys are still really strong. I've been following you, as you know, because I reached out about the donation.
Yep.
And I love that we were able to do, you're an official 501c organization, nonprofit. You've got a huge selection of events going on every year. What do you do during the wintertime, though, for fundraising?
So fundraising, we've tried to do a lot more online fundraising.
Like T-shirts?
Like T-shirts.
Well,
yes.
this is an older model. I've had this one for a few years.
But it's good. We have, we're lucky. We have good, printers and people who we work with because the quality is important. We do a lot of online merchandise sales, and our merchandise is available year round on our website, which is bikersagainstanimalcruelty.org. When we have events, we almost always have merchandise for sale there, unless it's a really small event and we can't do it. But generally, our merchandise sales are what fuels our funds throughout the year.
So you set up booths at events and places like that, like
We do, yeah. We
at
have
fairs or anything?
We do some fairs. We do obviously our own events. The Pet Picks is the biggest winter one we have. Riding events, if somebody has like a run of some sort and they ask us to be there as a vendor, we'll do that, and merchandise is there. So we try to get different spots throughout the year all over the state so that, we have an opportunity to reach out to people, and people who want to meet us who might not be able to drive an hour or 2 hours, we're a little closer. So we really make that effort.
Definitely. I must admit, when I first started riding 35 years ago, there weren't a lot of women riders. And now to see not only so many people of different socioeconomics, but women of all ages enjoying riding. And now you're running the organization and, you know, people see you out of, or they see me out of here or my leathers or anything. They're like, you ride a motorcycle? Yes. I used to teach in a public school and I'd pull up on my bike.
Oh my God, that's cool.
Yes.
Yeah, because
yes,
you don't
that was-
expect it. Like
no.
you never know who's a biker, you know?
Right,
And
yeah.
sometimes it doesn't always have the best connotation to it because, you know, people are watching TV and it's like, yeah, that's not how everybody is. So let's just.
I like how the logo embraces the stereotypical bad boy, but it's the total opposite. It's nothing but giving and love.
Yeah.
So, but to have that twist on like the traditionally stereotype. you
Yeah.
know, But
And it's good, but,
I
you
love
know,
the
we'll-
logo and everything.
will not tolerate nonsense when it comes to animals. So people have to really think about what they're doing and saying in front of us. 'Cause
Most definitely.
it's yeah.
So
it's rough.
you're on Facebook and you're fairly active on Facebook. So I'd like to encourage people to please look for you folks on Facebook. Do you use any other social media? I really don't, so that's why I'm asking. I'm sorry.
Yeah. We do have Instagram.
Okay.
We just started a TikTok. I don't do much with TikTok. Our IT does, and like I said, it's very new. So we're trying that. There's something called Real Time Animal. They do videos, so we're there too for their social media platform.
Oh.
That's relatively new, but it's a platform based on animals and helping animals of all kinds, not just domestic. So yeah, we're out there a lot, but Facebook still is pretty much number one as far as our information goes. And everything's public, so it can be shared. There's education, which is a big part of what we do, because abuse is not only intentional, but it's unintentional. Like if you're not giving your pet proper exercise, proper nutrition, if you're walking them on hot pavement, if you're leaving them out in the cold too long, like all of those things are still abuse. It's just unintentional. So it's like that saying, once you know better, you do better.
Exactly.
And that's a huge part of what motivates us, so that animals who are in loving homes can maybe have a better situation because, you know, now the owner knows better.
I just heard about 6 different TikToks you could do just off of what you said there. I mean, not me. I had to sub out my business when I had it. I needed someone else to do my social media.
Yeah, it's a lot. Social media is like a full-time job.
I know.
It's like, who has time? It's like, all right, let's make time. Somebody's going to do it.
And then you got to look at the pictures, and you got to crop it, and then you upload. I'm like, oh
yeah,
I
there's a
couldn't do it.
lot.
I couldn't.
There's a lot.
But it's a great way to get your message out. And the education piece, I know you have pamphlets and flyers and
We
things.
do.
So do local stores and organizations let you advertise?
Some of them do.
Yeah.
I think people who love animals will be really generous with, you know, time and space. And yes, you can put your flyer here or leave these things here. So we're really lucky because you need it. You need all of that support from everybody because
Absolutely.
it's huge. Like animal abuse and neglect is gigantic. So we, you know, it's here, it's this big, and we have our part that we are going to chip away at for as long as it takes to help fix it and at least diminish it and decrease these numbers.
It's heartbreaking, and I have trouble finishing articles and things. So when I do pick out a few of my favorite charities, you know, you guys are my favorite now in Connecticut. It used to be Worcester Animal Rescue League. I lived in Worcester, Mass. You can tell my
I
accent.
couldn't tell.
I know. But you guys are my favorite. You're my animal go-to. Outside of my friends and families who have pets, it's like I start with it. Can you use that? No, I don't know. But everything from straw. I met a woman who took care. She actually helped me catch a feral cat in our neighborhood. The feral cat and its mom were coming to my house all the time.
Okay.
We had names for them and everything. And right after she captured them, it gave birth right away.
Yeah.
So I sent some items to them. Do you guys have a thing on, is it on Amazon where you can?
We do. We have an Amazon wish list.
Awesome.
And we update it because people reach out to us and they'll ask us, hey, do you have this kind of cat food or do you have this kind of dog food? We need blankets. And if we have it already, we give it because our goal is to, whatever we get in, we want to get out really quickly to people who need it. And sometimes we don't have it, but we'll ask because it doesn't hurt to ask.
No, it doesn't.
And it's easy for people to donate. Like you click a button and you're done. You don't have to ship it. But people, we just had someone from another state, and it's going back to what we talked about before. It's a group of women and they make homemade fleece blankets. So we just got a huge box of these gorgeous fleece blankets donated to us because crafters have the time. They wanted to do it. They picked, somewhere that they thought it would be beneficial. And, we were happy with it. And the people that we're giving those blankets to really need them. So it's like a win for everybody.
And individuals can call you or reach out to you and say, I'm having trouble with my animal and I don't want, I don't know how to take care of it, or.
They can. So fortunately in our group, we have vet techs, we have animal control officers. We've got a gamut of people who deal with animals in some capacity. And even the ones who don't, who have, regular non-animal specific jobs. Everybody's got a resource. We're all kind of helping each other. So if it's something that we can give advice, we definitely will. And if it's not, again, we resource it, wait, let me find out from this person, or I'll have this person contact you, because it's all about networking. And at the end of the day, you want to help.
Yes.
So if we can't help, we know someone who can.
Yeah, that's like Russell from Enfield is kind of like he's like a hub and spoke of information and people. He set me up with someone to come help me get the cat out, and it was wonderful. He was so informative. And I sent him pictures, and he says, "Oh, well, this is going on," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, and just
It's
out of the
amazing.
kindness of his heart. But I had all these great pictures. He's like, "How'd you get so many?" I'm like, "Well, one cat's been coming for over 2 years." And
and
so,
you know them, like you know these animals, even though you might not be able to get near them.
yes.
We have,
yeah, that was like Peeve. Peeve. My husband called him Peeve because he was my pet.
Okay.
My outdoor pet that would come every morning and sit there and look at, waiting for me to give him his breakfast.
Yeah, we have cats in our neighborhood too, same thing. And you kind of get to know them. Like, I mean, I think cats indoor is the way to go because, you don't expose them to cars and, eagles and other animals. But, not every cat's an indoor cat. But everybody watches out. We're like, did you see the black and white one today? Like, this one didn't come around. Like, everybody's kind of protective.
There's 3 of us on my street that are like that. We text each other all the time.
Water bowls. We're like, we have this woman. She's like, I know, I'm the crazy cat lady in the neighborhood. And we're like, do you need food? Like, how can we help you? Because she does it a lot of times out of her own pocket. It's her own time, her own money. But if, you can help, I mean, feral cat colonies.
I build these elaborate winter shelters. This is the first winter we haven't had a feral come by.
Oh, wow.
And I would build these elaborate winter shelters that, no blankets. It was cut straw and, the whole shebang with the insulate, turned a cooler into a shelter. And my husband, I said, please build a catio for our cats, our 2 indoor cats. He's like, oh, for crying out loud, they're not going to use it. OMG.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I make a point of telling him every time I see him that, oh, by the way, Bang's outside. By the way, Crash and Bang are outside. So
on the catio.
in the catio. And I had him build it tall enough so that I can sit inside with them.
Oh, that's good. But see the things we do for our animals.
So I can crazy cat lady anybody right now.
It's good though. It's a good way to be because they need it. Cats,
they do need it. They need it.
Colonies, stuff like that. Oh my gosh,
Is there anything that
wild.
we didn't cover tonight that you might want to fill us in on?
I don't know if a lot of people know this, but we have a Sputer program where we help low-income families who have a pet, and obviously to help with pet overpopulation. They can apply online. Like I said, our website is bikersagainstanimalcruelty.org, and there's a section there to help spay and neuter your pet. We help offset that cost.
That's wonderful.
So that's, I think, one of our sort of, I don't want to say like unsung heroes of the organization, but it's hugely important. And you want to do the right thing by your pet because spaying and neutering cuts down on a lot of issues like cancers and certain things in pets.
And
So-
smelly households.
and
you know.
smelly household and
Well, Bob Barker
bad
thanks you.
behavior. Yeah, Bob Barker. I mean, amazing. Look at
Yeah.
him for like years and years
Yeah.
doing that. So we do that. So yeah, we're always looking for members who want to join. We're always looking for donations of almost any type.
Wonderful.
We're available if someone needs help. And like I said, if we can't help them, we'll find someone who can. And
Well,
that's that.
I really thank you for so many different reasons. Being an animal lover is just the smallest ones, but again, as someone else who's a motorcycle enthusiast, and not everybody has Harleys. Everybody, you have a motorcycle, come join.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
thank you again for coming.
Thank you for
and
having us. This is
so
so
glad,
great.
I'm glad to touch base with you, and I'm so glad that we were able to help the organization in our way.
Yeah.
So. Thank you all for joining us tonight. Appreciate it. Please check out their website, Bikers Against Animal Cruelty. It'll be on your screen. And thank you again. Good night.